2-3, creating and solving equations. When you create an equation to model real-world problems, your equations may involve the distributive property. When you solve these real-world problems, you always want to check that your answer makes sense. So you can always take whatever you get as your answers for these variables that you're solving for and plug them back into the equation that either you formed or that's given to you to check your answer. If you plug them back in and they give you a true statement, your answer is correct. If it gives you a false statement, you know that you did something wrong and you have to go back and redo the problem. If we look at example 1, we're writing and solving equations to solve each problem. For A, it says Aaron and Alice are bowling. Alice's score is twice the difference of Aaron's score and 5. The sum of their scores is 320. Find each student's bowling score. So we can go ahead and say that Alice's X, we'll do this here. So Alice is X, and let's say Aaron is Y. It tells us that Alice's score, so X, is twice the difference, so 2 times the difference of two things, of Aaron's score and 5. So it's going to be Y minus 5. Together, so Aaron's plus Alex's, so X plus Y is equal to 320. So if together they equal 320, Alice's, we can go ahead and set equal to 320. Now, when we do this, we are going to have to distribute. Let's see here. So we're going to set up, we're going to set up that sum of these two equations. So X is the 2 times Y plus 5. We'll put that down. So we're doing X plus Y. So 2 times Y minus 5 plus Y is equal to 320. If we distribute this 2, we're going to have 2Y minus 10 plus Y is equal to 320. Combine your like terms from here. I'm going to just move up to here. We're going to have 3Y minus 10 equals 320. From here, you want to get Y by itself, so add that 10 to both sides. We get that 3Y is equal to 330, and then divide each side by 3 to get that Y is 110. From there, you still want what Alice's score is, so you got to find for X now. So we know that Y is 110. X is going to equal the 2 times Y minus 5. So 2 times Y, which is 110 minus 5. So from here, we can combine those, that 110 minus 5, remember, PEMDAS, parentheses. So 2 times 105. And then we're going to multiply the 2 and the 105 to get that X is 210. Oops. So we have that Y is at 110 and X is 210. If we look at example B, it tells us that Mari, Carlos, and Amanda collect stamps. Carlos has 5 more stamps than Mari, and Amanda has 3 times as many stamps as Carlos. Together, they have 100 stamps. Find the number of stamps each person has. So we have that with Mari, we have Carlos, and we have Amanda. Carlos has 5 more than Mari. So C is going to be Mari plus 5. Then it tells us that Amanda has 3 times as many stamps as Carlos. So A for Amanda is going to be 3 times Carlos. So we know all together, so Amanda, Carlos, and Mari is 100 stamps in total. So we want to know what all of this is. Now, Carlos is M plus 5. Amanda is 3 times M plus 5. And Mari, we don't know what hers is, so we're going to leave it as M. So together, this is going to give us A, which is 3 times M plus 5, plus Carlos, which is M plus 5, plus M is equal to 100. So we have to solve for m here. So we're going to distribute this 3 to leave us with 3m plus 15 plus m plus 5 plus m is equal to 100. So from here, we're going to combine our like terms. The 3m plus m is going to give us 5m. 15 plus 5 is 20, and that's equal to 100. We're going to subtract over that 20 to get 5m is equal to 80, and then we're going to divide each side by 5. So m is equal to 16. From here, we know that Carlos is m plus 5, so the 16 plus 5 is going to be 21. Oops, Carlos, not Mari. Carlos is 16 plus 5, which is 21. And then lastly, for Amanda, we know that Amanda is 3 times Carlos. So if Amanda is 3 times Carlos, 3 times 21 is 63. If we added all of these together, ooh, that doesn't look right. If we added all of these together, they should equal 100. Oops. Let's go to the right thing. There we go. All right. So from here, for C, it says a rectangular garden is fenced on all sides with 256 feet of fencing. The garden is 8 feet longer than it is wide. Find the length and the width of the garden. A rectangular garden is fenced on all sides with 256 feet of fencing. Well, what's the measurement of all sides added together? The perimeter. So we know our perimeter is equal to, P is equal to 256. We know that our perimeter is also 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Well, what are our length and our width? The perimeter is 256, so 256 is equal to 2 times the length, which is W plus 8, plus 2 times the width, which is W. So from here, you want to distribute that 2 and then combine like terms if you can. So 256 is equal to 2W plus 16 plus 2W. The 2 W's add together to give us 256 is equal to 4W plus 16. We're going to move the 16 over first by subtracting it from each side. And we get that 240 is equal to 4W. Then we're going to divide by 4 on both sides to get that W is equal to 60 feet. If W is 60 feet, our length is our width plus 8, so 60 plus 8, which is 68 feet. So we have the width and the length. That turned out weird. I guess it's going to be like that. So we're just going to underline it. If we look at our next example, for examples 2A, B, C, and D, we're writing and solving an equation to solve each problem. For A, it says Janine has job offers at 2 companies. One company offers a starting salary of $28,000 with a raise of $3,000 each year. The other company offers a starting salary of $36,000 with a raise of $2,000 each year. In how many years would Janine's salary be the same with both companies? And what will that salary be? So we're going to take both of these and set them equal to one another. So with company A, she earns $28,000. Ooh, wow. Oops. Come on. There we go. She earns $28,000 plus $3,000 per year. With the other company, she earns $36,000 plus 2,000 per year. So from here, we want to get our y's on one side and our constants on the other. So I'm going to move over that 2,000 first by subtracting it from both sides. Oops, 2,000, not 200. These are going to cancel out. I'm going to be left with 28,000 plus 1,000. Y is equal to 36,000. So from here, I'm going to subtract the 28,000 from both sides. And I'm going to just bring this up here. And I'm going to be left with 1,000 y is equal to 8,000. So divide each side by 1,000. And we get that y is equal to 8 years. So in 8 years, how much will that salary be? We'll take that 8 and plug it into one of these situations. So if we did it for, like, let's say the 36,000 plus 2,000 y, 36,000 plus 2,000 times 8 is 36,000 plus 16,000, which gives us 52,000. So we have 8 years and 52,000. For B, it gives us one moving company charges $800 plus $16 per hour. Another moving company charges $720 plus $21 an hour. At what number of hours will the charge by both companies be the same, and what is the charge? So we want to start with that $800 per hour, $800 plus $16 per hour. That's going to give us $800 plus $16 per hour. And it's going to be equal to $720 plus $21 per hour. Get your hours on the same side. I'm going to move that 16h over by subtracting it from both sides. These are going to cancel out. I'm going to be left with 800 is equal to 720 plus 5h. So from here, I'm going to subtract 720 from both sides and get that 80 is equal to 5h. So from here, we want to divide by 5 on both sides and get that those hours are 16. So that's one part of our answer. So now we need to figure out how much it's going to cost for the 16 hours. So we're going to plug that 16 in for h in one of these expressions. I'm going to choose to do the 800 plus 16h. So I'm going to do 800 plus 16 times 16. The 16 times 16 is 256, so 800 plus 256. I'm going to add these and get $1,056 for the 16 hours. For C, it tells us that Claire bought just enough fencing to enclose either a rectangular garden or a triangular garden as shown. The two gardens have the same perimeter. How many feet of fencing did she buy? So first, we're going to say that we need to find the perimeter of each because the two of them are going to be equal to one another. So to find the perimeter of the rectangle, we're going to do 2 times 3x minus 3 plus 2 times x minus 3. If we simplify this, we're going to distribute. It's going to be 6x minus 6. Oh my goodness, minus 6 plus 2x minus 6. From here, we can combine like terms. The 6x plus 2x is 8x, and the negative 6 minus 6 is negative 12. So the perimeter of the rectangle is 8x minus 12. If we find the perimeter of the triangle, we're going to have the 2x minus 1 plus the 2x minus 1 plus 2x. So 2x plus 2x plus 2x gives us 6x. Negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. So our perimeter for that triangle is 6x minus 2. We're now going to set the two of these equal to one another. So P is equal to P. So 8x minus 12 is equal to 6x minus 2. I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides and get that 2x minus 12 is equal to negative 2. I am going to add 12 to both sides and get that 2x is equal to 10. Divide each side by 2, and x is 5. Now, what you do with this 5 is you plug it in to one of these. So if I did the, let's see here, they want to know how much feet of fencing did she buy. So x is 5 in both of these. So if you plug it in, let's say to the triangle, plug the 5 in, we can do 6 times 5 minus 2. So I'm going to plug it in 6 times 5 minus 2. That's going to give me 30 minus 2, and that's also 28. So she did 28 feet of fencing. You got to be careful what they ask you for here. You want to make sure that you're paying attention and giving them the answer, giving me the answer that they're actually asking for. You can't just give me that 5. They want to know the feet of fencing that you bought. For D, if the veterinarian is changing the diets of 2 animals, Simba and Cuddles. Simba currently consumes 1,200 calories per day. That number will increase by 100 calories each day, so that's 12,000 plus 100. Cuddles currently consumes 3,230 calories a day, and that number will decrease by 190, so it's going to be the 3,230 minus 190. The patterns will continue until both animals are consuming the same number of calories each day. And how many days will that be? How many calories will each animal be consuming each day then? So we're going to set these two equal to one another. So we're going to start off with that 1,200. I keep doing that. 1,200 plus 100 per day is equal to 3,230 minus 190 per day. So I'm going to add that 190D to both sides. And I'm going to be left with the 1,200 plus 290D is equal to 3,230. I'm going to move that 1,200 over by subtracting it from both sides. I'm going to be left with 290D is equal to 2030. So from here, this would be 290. So 290D. I'm going to divide each side by 290. The zeros are going to cancel out. So D is equal to 7. So that's 7 days. They want us to tell also how many calories both of them will be consuming in those 7 days. So if we look at plugging it in, so the 12,000 or 1,200 plus 100 times D, that's going to be 1,200 plus 100 times 7. That's 1,200 plus 700, and that's going to give us 1,900 calories. If we look at example 3, it tells us to construct and solve an equation to solve the problem. So it tells us that Kim works 4 hours each day, then Jill, 4 more hours each day than Jill does, and Jack works 2 hours less each day than Jill does. Over 2 days, the number of hours Kim works is equal to the difference of 4 times the number of hours Jack works, and the number of hours Jill works. How many hours does each person work each day? So look back from the beginning. It tells us that Kim works 4 hours more each day than Jill does. So Kim is going to be X plus 4. It then tells us that Jack works 2 hours less each day than Jill does. So that's Jill minus 2. So Jill has to be this X. So Jill is going to be X. And then the other one, which is Jack, this is, here, we're going to do this a little differently so you know. Jill is X. So then Jack is X minus 2. It tells us over 2 days, the number of hours Kim works is equal to the difference of 4 times the number of hours Jack works and the number of hours Jill works. So over 2 days, we have to multiply all of these by 2. So this is 2 times x plus 4 for Kim, which is 2x plus 8. And then Jill will be 2 times x, which is just 2x. And then Jack will be 2 times x minus 2, which is 2x minus 4. So from here, it tells us the number of hours Kim works. So Kim is the 2x plus 8. The number of hours she works is 4 times the number. So 4 times the number of hours that Jack works, which is the 2x minus 4, and the number of hours Jill works, so that's the 2x. The difference, the 4 times equal to the difference of 4 times. So we got to do 4 times the number that Jack works minus the number of hours that Jill works. So we're going to distribute this here, and we're going to be left with 2x plus 8 is equal to 8x minus 16 minus 2x. So then the 8x minus 2x is 6x, so 2x plus 8 is equal to 6x minus 16. We're going to move that 2x over by subtracting it from each side and be left with 8 is equal to 4x minus 16. And then we're going to add the 16 to both sides to get 24 is equal to 4x. And then divide each side by 4 to get that x is 6. So now with this, you're plugging it into the original expressions that we did for each of them. So for Kim, we had the x plus 4. If x is 6, this is going to be 6 plus 4, which is 10 hours. For Jill, we just had x, which is the 6, so that's 6 hours. And then for Jack, we had x minus 2, which is 6 minus 2, so that's 4 hours. If we look at number 9, it says Lisa is 10 centimeters taller than her friend Ian. Ian is 14 centimeters taller than Jim. Every month their height increases by 2 centimeters. In 7 months, the sum of Ian's and Jim's weights will be 170 centimeters more than Lisa's height. How tall is Ian now? Okay, so start from the beginning. Lisa is 10 centimeters taller than Ian. So Lisa is 10 centimeters taller than Ian. So Ian's going to have to be x plus 10. We said that Ian is x. From here, it tells us that Ian is 14 centimeters taller than Jim. So Jim is x minus 14. Then it tells us every month their height increases by 2 centimeters. Okay, so if every month it increases by 2 centimeters, Lisa would be x plus 10 plus 2, Ian would be x plus 2, and Jim would be x minus 14 plus 2. We're not doing that though. It tells us in 7 months, the sum of Ian and Jim's height will be 170 centimeters more than Lisa's height. How tall is Ian now? So if we know that 7 months is the change, it's 2 centimeters per month, 2 times 7 is 14. So we're going to have to add 14 to all of these. Oops, I'm going to change the color so we see the difference. So plus the 14 plus the 14 plus the 14 is going to give us x plus 24, x plus 14, and just x. So now, after the 7 months, Lisa is the x plus 24, Ian is the x plus 14, Jim is just the x. So it tells us, again, the sum of Ian and Jim's heights. So Ian, which is the x plus 14, plus x is equal to 170 centimeters more than Lisa's. So that's Lisa's is x plus 24. More than means plus 170. So now from here, combine like terms if you can. The 24 and the 170. You have x plus 14. Oh, sorry, 2x. So we're going to do 2x because x and x. 2x plus 14 is equal to x plus 194. From here, we're going to move that x over by subtracting it from both sides. So x plus 14 is equal to 194. Then we're going to subtract each side with the 14 to get that x is equal to 180 centimeters. So, if x is equal to 180 centimeters, then Ian's height is the x, which is the 140 centimeters.